reverb. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, here we go. Here's the show. Sit back and enjoy. It begins in 3, 2, 1.
Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
This is The Boop Show, episode 244. It's Monday, April 27th, 2020. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm Scott Johnson with Brian Dunaway. Hello, Brian.
Oh, hi, Scott.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Scott.
Hey, I feel like I haven't talked to you in a while, but really it was this morning. So
I know we talked Saturday and this morning. And
yeah. Why does it
for
feel
30
like
minutes prior to the show? Whatever.
I don't know if there's anybody in my circles who I have talked to more over the last 15 years than you.
I'm telling you.
Isn't that weird?
You don't think about it. You don't think about it as listeners, but I've talked to you pretty much at least once a week for almost the last
at least
15
that.
years?
At least that. It's probably closer to
Several
like
times a week.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it's 5-6 times a week. Brian and I are either on a show or we're chatting about something online, and it's a weird thing to think in 15 years.
Yeah.
And you're all long and hairy now.
I am. I'm long and hairy. I just noticed that I laid down for half a second. Do you lay across the bed? I laid across the bed.
I've done that.
Yeah, and so now I've got this. What do you call that? It's not a cow lick.
I mean, well, a little bit of a cow, like a cow licked you in the back of the head.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're glad to be here, guys. Hope you're doing all well. And now let's do this together. Time to talk about video games that we've been playing, things we like to play. If you're thinking to yourself, man, I wish there was a show that was like a bunch of news too. Oh, that's loud. Turn that off. I got good news for you. We actually have 2 video game shows on the network, and one of them is this one. It's called The Boop Show with me and Brian. And there's another one called Core, which happens on Wednesday nights with me and John Jagger and Bo Schwartz. And that's the one where we kind of dive into all the industry business and like the back and forth of what's Sony doing. I don't know. Microsoft says this. And doo. Here we just focus on
what's Sony doing. I want to know what Sony's doing.
Exactly. But here we just
Do
go.
I have to tune in?
You don't have to. You can.
Okay.
But
I want to tune in.
You can if you want. Absolutely. But think of it as like a sister show where we talk about that kind of stuff. And then we come back over here and we recommend just a few games that we've been playing, have a little fun, do some segments, that sort of stuff. So we cover all the areas. So go check out Core if you haven't before. And if you have already, well, then I'm talking to preaching to the choir. Couldn't say that phrase right. Okay.
Preaching to the. I was talking to the choir. I was making casual conversations with the choir.
With the choir. Never do that. You'll get yourself in trouble. Yeah. All right. I'm going to talk to you about my first game today. It is a little title who I may have mentioned before when it was in early access, but now I get to talk about it in its full 1.0 release. And that game is...
I've seen this everywhere lately.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about it. A lot of people talking about it. It's called Aratus, Lord of the Dead. Where the story is you're a necromancer who has been raised up again by some explorers, and you've been unleashed back on the world, and now it's your job. Okay, imagine this. Imagine Darkest Dungeon.
Okay.
But then imagine that in Darkest Dungeon, you're the bad guys, not the good guys. Because in Darkest Dungeon, it's all about, hey, you're the good guys, you're going down there to adventure or whatever, and you have to worry about your sanity and your food and all your stuff. And it's a very punishing game, that game. Just real punishing. But very fun, but very punishing. I respect it greatly. Right. But I also think it's a little on the hard side for not great reasons. It's too hard. It's too hard for its own good, in my opinion. I know that's going to be, a lot of people are going to feel different, but that's just kind of my take.
No. I think that's a common consensus, isn't it? It's a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, there are people who swear by it. We'll never play anything else, and I totally get that. But this game comes along.
Artwork in this is fantastic so far, by the way.
Oh, it's very cool. The actual battle stuff. So they're not copying. You'll look at it and go, oh, 4 guys lined up and 4 guys to fight on the other side and a bunch of spells to use and turn-based. And boy, this sure looks an awful lot like Darkest Dungeon.
It does.
And it's not that. There's a lot of things that are different about it. But you are the one inflicting insanity with your minions. You're the one inflicting the things that the heroes hate. And you play the bad guys. Now you can name and build up a dude and have a skeleton warrior and call him Larry and all that if you want to.
Did you do that?
I did. His name is Granger, though. I named him Granger for some reason.
Larry was better.
Yeah, and I named my Dark Knight Batman because he's a Dark Knight.
Oh, it's a Dark Knight. Makes sense.
But they have a whole bunch of abilities.
Not Bruce.
Exactly,
Okay.
not Bruce.
Right.
I should have done that. What was I thinking?
All right.
You have mana. That mana can be used for general spells to sort of turn things in your favor. Right now you're watching a Banshee get the crap kicked out of her. She's going to probably die in this fight. Here's the thing about your minions, though. They're pretty expendable. You don't want to lose them. It's best to not. But when you do, you just make more of them. And as the game goes on, you can raise weirder and more diverse kinds of creatures. And the different creatures do different things. Some are buffers and debuffers, like the Banshee there. She does a lot of debuff work on the opposing team, whereas you've got there's not shown here, but there's a zombie guy that's like this big beefy dude with a cannon, and he's got shit growing off of him, mushrooms and stuff. And anyway, he does range stuff, so he's pretty cool. Then you got these skeleton warriors, and they do a ton of damage, and they're pretty good front line, so they can take some damage.
And you missed.
You can buff that out. Yeah, and you definitely have misses. It's a roll of the dice sort of scenario. You have chances of missing. You can get crits, that sort of stuff. A lot of the D&D DNA is in there. It's a really cool one of these. Like,
right.
There's a lot of games
Scott,
that. Yes, go ahead.
I gotta know. Will I lose my soul if I play this? It looks like the occult is going on here.
No.
I grew up during the 80s, and if I learned anything from the 80s, it's that
Well, it was the satanic panic we had back then.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah, parents were stupid.
Yeah.
It turns out your parents were wrong, and we're now the parents, and we're right. And how we know that is because we've tested the time, and it's all been fine. But yeah, like and it's all played a little humorously. The Aratus guy will say things during the fight like, "Oh, you've done my bidding again, have you?" It's just stupid stuff like that. It's the sound's great, the music's great, his voiceover is great. When you get back after a fight, you go back to the graveyard and you can upgrade stuff. And what's great is if you want to build, there's a mortuary, and the mortuary helps you heal your minions. It's basically, you're all kind of undead anyway, but you can put them in there and they'll gain some of their vigor back. They call it, instead of life or hit points, it's vigor.
Is it piss and vigor?
It's piss and vigor. Yep, taking the piss, getting the vigor.
Getting a little back.
Yep. They sit in there between battles and can heal up while you go out and do other fights. All of them level up individually. You can equip different items on them. So it's like, all right, I want to have more physical resist on this skeleton warrior. So you can equip that in the character screen. And now when he's out there fighting, he'll take 10% less damage from physical attacks. You can do magic attack resist. You can do stuff that'll improve their damage. Things that'll make it so you can't be pushed around in your lineup because there's some spells and abilities that'll push you back or forward.
What's the role for initiative here? I'm trying to make sure who's going first. Is it
so initiative? I'm glad you brought that up. Initiative is handled. I don't know how it starts. I think it might be random, like random rolls. Well, I know it is. They basically behind the scenes, everything's been rolled randomly as to who starts and who's next. But you can change how that works both in and out of the game. So some items you can equip will be like, oh, give this Dark Knight +2 to initiative, and so he'll get a 2 points higher chance of and you can keep beefing up that talent over time as you get more XP, get more levels, that sort of thing. And the same thing goes for characters who if you're out of the game, if you're in the game, there are certain buffs you can set off right then that will give everybody in your team, or maybe just you or a selected person, better initiative for that round. So he'll bump up in order or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff like that you can do. Some of the characters just inherently have better initiative, so they start more often. And like your skeleton dudes, there's a certain ability you can do in the fight. I forgot the name of it. It's pretty damagey. But it basically makes it so now he's got all the aggro for the rest of the match. So they're all going to try to attack him. So sometimes the trick is, let's move him in the back. So you use your mana spell to move him back a couple of slots. Or if he's doing okay health-wise, get him out front and have him take all the damage and let all your squishies in the back do the DPS or the debuffs in the back. It's got a really cool crafting system, so you can kind of craft better items for them to equip. You unlock multiple items as the game goes along. It is really good.
I saw this on Twitch. People were streaming it. I just saw that it was very popular for people to watch. So I hit Steam to see if it looked like something I want to play. And just from the screenshots, I didn't watch any video. Just from the screenshots, I was kind of like, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah.
But watching the video and having you describe it and watching these attack animations, it looks like a really fun game loop that I didn't think I would enjoy.
Yeah, it is very cool. You know, I keep showing you that graveyard space where he was out there upgrading stuff.
Right.
To start a graveyard slot, it's pretty great because one of the slots might be, I can't build this until I sacrifice a banshee for it.
No.
So I go build a banshee and then immediately take him out to the graveyard and sacrifice him so I can build I can excavate whatever it is. He goes, "Nrrr," whatever.
Like
yeah.
that. Yeah, sweet.
And they just do your bidding. It's beautifully rendered. Everything's very nice looking. Again, you're going to look at it and first glance, you're going to go, oh, what is this, a Darkest Dungeon ripoff?
Yeah,
it
looks
not.
very much like Darkest Dungeon.
It does, but it really isn't that. And I would feel bad for people who are afraid of it for that reason. It's got great reviews for a reason. The gameplay in here is really solid.
Right.
And I don't feel like I'm getting my ass handed to me just for the sake of it. Whereas Darkest Dungeon was all about making my life miserable and doing it in a way that was really frustrating. Like that game just made me angry all the time. And I know that's...
Well, it was called the Darkest Dungeon.
It is, and I know that's what they were aiming
Good Time
for.
Dungeon.
They were aiming for that. They were shooting for that, and they hit it. And I'm nothing but respect for them and that game.
Right.
And I'm excited about their sequel and all that other stuff. But this is really fun because not only does it turn things on its head and put you in the role of the evil side people are trying to fight, but which is interesting in its own right, the gameplay and the loop and the go back and upgrade your stuff, those roguelike elements are really strong. There's difficulty settings, so you don't have to do the hardest first or the easiest first. You can kind of pick your poison and go for it. I like it a lot.
I could see why. The one thing I've been a little concerned about watching the video is it looks like most of the heroes on the other side, you're the hero, I guess, but the anti-heroes possibly all look alike. A lot of them do. They're like repeating. Is that just like early on gameplay?
What do you mean, like the?
I see a lot of the same characters. Your characters on your side look very unique. Where the ones over there, like, hey, here's two villagers that look pretty much the same, and then here's this villager with a bandana because he's respecting social distancing, and the other guy's not.
Well, it's basically. That's
lantern carrier.
That's a fair way of putting it. Those guys with the lanterns, though, they're a class, so they do debuffs like that. They put that light in your face, and light you're kind of averse to light, so you lose some take
that
some hit or whatever.
Demon.
The guys in front with the axes, they're just sort of warrior types, but there's a whole ton of them. There's magic users. There's a huge list. In the early game, though, you're going to get a lot of guys like this, which is no big deal. Like you just sort of fight them. There's these one ladies who have a sickle who are on the good side. That is to say, your opposing side.
There you go.
If they're getting beat real bad because you're hurting them real bad, they can heal by sacrificing one of their own. So it's like a lot of like, well, yeah, sure, we're the bad guys, but you guys are freaking evil. You just sacrifice each other for health. Like, it's a fun flip stuff on its head kind of thing. It's very good. All right, chat room says we're buffering a lot, so I'm going to stop the stream and restart it. Hold on one second.
Yeah, and I'm watching it here where I'm at, and I'm not having any trouble, but I was having a lot of trouble with Night Attack earlier.
Yeah,
I think it's just where these are being hosted. Mine, I don't know if you're hitting a server icon.
Yeah, I don't know either. Hold on.
Get or what? But yeah.
Well, let me see. I'm going to try everybody there. That was weird.
We're back to recording.
Yeah, we're recording. We just had a weird glitch. So we're working now, connected to the Dallas servers now. Let's see if that makes a difference. Apparently, kind of Twitch-wide, things are going a little nuts. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, that's about all I have to say about that game, except to just reiterate, one of my top picks right now. I really dig it. It's my jam. My jam entirely, and I think you'll like it as well. Quick note that the developer is Unfrozen, published by Daedalic Entertainment, And it's just great. If you thought the Darkest Dungeon was just a little too on the hard side, and you want something a little more, I don't know, a little more leeway.
What was the name of this game again? We've mentioned it, I think, only once.
Aratus, Lord of the Dead. Lord of the Dead!
I'm the Lord of the Dead. Hey, who died and left you, Lord of the Dead?
Yeah, get another network
Hey,
there.
how are you dancing with just your feet? Oh, that's Lord of the Dance.
That's Lord of the Dance, Brian. Have you not heard about Lord
of the Dead?
Of the Dance. All right. Well, it's doing it again, so I'm just going to let it go.
We just got to let it roll, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get it working. All right. So here's the next thing, which is you telling me about Ancestors Legacy.
Ancestors a Legacy. So I got this in the Humble Bundle in December of 2019. Then I activated apparently in January 2020. And then I decided to play it this past week. I don't know why, but it was on my list. I filtered by my Steam list by controller-based games. This one came up, and then as soon as I launched the game, it said, this ain't going to work. And I was like, we'll see. We'll just see. Settle down. Ancestors Legacy. Developer is Destructive Creations. Currently experienced a very positive reviews on the Steam. Come out in 2018. It is squad-based real-time strategy. Real-time strategy. Do you like Company of Heroes?
Company of Heroes, like the World War II one, and move your tanks around and heal guys and throw bombs and all that. Yes.
Right. Well, that's kind of like this, but we're in medieval Europe.
Whoa.
And this time we can choose between the Britons or the Vikings. I was trying to think of who else was that we could play as, because there's 4 nations you can play. I went with the Vikings first off because I like Vikings. What can I say? And I didn't care for the Britons because they were all running around in their little crusader-looking outfits. No thanks. So when you start this game out in the Viking campaign, you land on your island there, and you're immediately scattered to the wind, and you have to collect your armies across the land. And then, of course, how you wrap everything up is by war. Right?
Oh, yeah, war. What is it good for? It turns out winning a video game.
What is it good for?
Yeah.
It's good for Company Heroes, and it's also good for this Ancestors Legacy. I only got to play for about 3 hours, but I got a pretty good taste of how this Unreal Engine 4 game worked. Most of it's top down when you first start. You can move your troops and your squads as you need to, and then you can scroll on in and take a little closer look to see what's going on. There's a lot of,
this is a kind of a pretty game. I like it.
I like it. I think it's very pretty.
Reminds me of do you remember Myth back in the day? It was an old Bungie game back in the when they were making PC games. This reminds me of Myth for some reason.
I can see that. Yeah, there was another game that reminded me of as well. There's what's it called? That's is it Aliens and what was it? Amazonians and Aliens? I can't remember. Something like that. It was a really it was like off-brand game, but it was so stupid. I loved it. Amazons and Aliens. I have to remember. Anyway, so back to this game, Ancestors Legacy. There's a good bit of stealthing involved when I'm playing as the Vikings. I haven't played, like I said, any other campaign. I'm assuming the Britons have a little less stealthing necessary, but you have to find your brush. If you find some brush, you can hide in there with your characters, and if you're just concerned about your arrows finding their mark, you might want to just find some wooded area without brush. So that's what you're doing a lot of. You're finding locations that are good. That gives you a strategy, strategic. That's what I was looking for. A strategic advantage.
Got it. There's your word.
A strategy.
Yeah.
I love how Scott is giving the blow by blow in the chat room. I think Brian seems to like it. I know you can't see the video right now or hear Brian talking, but
yeah, because the Wraith in there says, "Hey, repeat everything you say in chat, or you see that we're saying in chat." So just give him a little idea of what's going on.
I love our quarantine lives.
I hope they stick around because it's still like my thing says the Uptick server says it's 100% streaming and receiving video.
Yes,
it's something with Twitch's output on the other end.
Probably the VOD later on. You'll catch this in the VOD later. Probably be just fine. You'll enjoy yourself. But yeah, Ancestors Legacy, real time strategy.
Is it always at night like this, or just a night mission I'm looking at? Is there daytime?
Yeah, the thing I did, I had to crank up the gamma because I was streaming this and no one could see what I was doing, and so I had to crank it up above what is recommended. So it's kind of a dark game. At least, like I said, once again, I've only put in about 3 hours. I only really went through the Viking campaign. I'm interested in doing the other campaigns. Did you say you played the Company of Heroes?
I did, and I liked that game a lot. The Company of Heroes, and the other one I really liked that uses a similar system was that was real time, but it was kind of squad based. Was the second Warhammer one? What that was called?
Oh,
what?
Yeah.
What was that called?
Yeah. What did you?
Dawn of War 2. Dawn of War 2 was one of my favorite RTSs, and it played like this. It looks like, and it played a lot like that other game.
I loved what I played. However, I will say I don't know how many times I'll revisit this world. I just felt like I don't know. I didn't feel like my characters were very honorable. And maybe it was because I was playing the Vikings, but I don't think so. But I just felt like I was just slaughtering people. I didn't feel like I was on a mission.
The Vikings are dicks, man. What are you gonna do with those guys? They're there to make your life hard. That's what they do.
So we got scattered to the wind at the very beginning of this game. And what I had to do, my first mission in my campaign, was to run across to different camps, kill as many Britons as I could, and reunite with my brothers in arms. And I would pick up, a squad here and there. Sometimes it would be pikemen. Sometimes it would be, there'd be archers. And I'd go to these camps, pick up. And so I'm slowly starting to grow my crew. So at first I feel very stealthy. I have to go in and be very quiet. By the time I'm through, I'm running and pillaging everything. It's like, you're all going to die.
Well, that's war for you. That's what you do.
It's war for you. Yeah. So it's a nice slow build up. But I think because it is such a slow build up, I don't know how many times I want to start that slow build up every time.
Yeah.
Once again, I only played the single player campaign. This is probably a lot more fun playing online with your friends in a co-op mode. But I don't really know how much difference in the strategy you can deploy. I am interested in playing with some other people, but like I said, I really enjoyed it. I really had a good time. This may be your jam. I don't know if I'll go back many more times. We'll see. We'll see.
If you do, I'd like to hear how it holds up over time. That's
right. And I'll tell you, now's the time to try it. $10.49, 70% off, $10.50 on Steam. Or you can get the whole Legacy Edition, the whole complete collection for $13.77. I think it comes with a soundtrack and art book. I can't speak for the art book, but I enjoyed the soundtrack that I did here during the game. And there's some DLC as well.
Nice.
For just a little bit of money. So the DLC may make it good. Like I said, I think this has, for me, I think it's already been said. I think if you look at Steam, you'll see that this is a well-received game. Very positive. People very much like it. How did it hit me? I guess, I don't know. It kind of made me want to play Company Heroes. I feel like maybe it's a little more robust. I don't know. Company
Heroes wasn't that free a while ago?
It probably was.
Somewhere it was free. You
ever play a game just like, I know this is a good game,
but I could be playing this other one that's kind of like it that I may like better.
I know, but maybe there's some nostalgia there.
Yeah.
And maybe I just didn't pick the right people. Like I said, I picked the Vikings to begin with, and I didn't pick the Britons. And maybe it's just not in my groove right now too as a gamer.
Yeah. It's possible. There are times where there's certain games I don't want to play sometimes. It's just how it is.
Right. Definitely don't take my meh is the game being meh.
It's a different kind of meh. It
didn't hit me right.
Yeah, different kind of meh.
It didn't hit me right.
Yeah, I completely get you there.
Give it a try.
Give it a try, you guys. Like this game I'm about to talk about, which is called Astray.
Mo's Astray.
So I actually don't know how this is supposed to be said, but it's MO AST. Yeah, ASTRAY. Astray, not ass.
You're right. Astray.
Astray. Maybe it's Mo Astray. I don't know.
Like a asterisk or Astray.
Really
Astray.
hard to say.
Oh, Mo Astray.
Is it Mo Astray?
Why are you trying to make it hard for me?
Well, because there's a colon there. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Mo Astray.
Mo colon Astray.
Mo Astray.
Mostry.
So it's not, Mo Astray. All right. Well, it's a really weird name. The dev is Prey Incorporated. It was published by Rayark International, and this is a rad as hell game and another gigantic recommend from me. So
Yeah.
it's relatively expensive on Twitch. It is highly regarded there as a overwhelmingly positive review. Brian, I'm going to put it in the same category as something like Celeste in terms of like its precision, kind of puzzly, die a lot, start over, but start very quickly over kind of gameplay like Celeste was, or like even Meat Boy's a lot like that. Where you're gonna die.
By the way, Celeste is like $5 on the Switch right now.
No brainer.
Right.
That game's amazing too. It's a lot like that. But okay, let's take the three. Here are the other elements. It's got the art style of something like Dead Cells. It's very, very cool. It's pixel art, but it's not meant to look 8-bit or something. It's just really nice pixel art with lots of really interesting effects and stuff, but definitely pixel art. It plays a lot like Celeste does. Some, Meat Boy is a decent comparison. Just difficult, hard to finish levels and missions and stuff like that. And then it has this weird sci-fi feel of something like Half-Life, or I don't know what else to compare it to. Really weird science fiction stuff, lots of mystery. You got to figure out what the hell's going on kind of stuff. But really, you're just this blob. And I have a theory as to what you are in this game, but I haven't gotten far enough to confirm my theory. But my theory is that I'm a little blob that is part or an offshoot of some really smart scientist. Like I used to be something big. And I don't know exactly how that works or what the deal is with it, but it's some kind of...
Maybe you're Mo Cullen and you're Astray.
It could be. It really could. It really could be. It's you come out of this big test tube to begin with. You're seeing this in the video right now. If you're watching the video version of it, I just pooped out.
That's what I was trying to do because I always like watching the gameplay so I can see.
Oh yeah, you can't see this now. That's true.
I can't see it right now. So I was trying to look it up.
Yeah, you'll want to look this thing up and watch some of it.
Right.
The mechanic is you can move around left and right like any normal sort of creature. But the trick is you've got this like targeting thing you use a stick for, and I would recommend highly using a control pad for this, some kind of controller. And you stick to walls and other objects to get around things. You also stick to the heads of like some of these zombified creatures, and that makes it so you can control them for a bit and move them around, so you can solve puzzles by being inside the brain of a zombie. There's spikes you got to watch out for, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of platforming elements, but a lot of really creative sort of puzzle solving stuff going on as well. And slowly throughout the game, you gain pieces of knowledge back, and the knowledge is all like, I was the great scientist who discovered the dealio, and and it's really vague and hard to understand. And the more you go, the more you learn, and the more you learn, the more the game makes sense.
That sounds interesting. No, it sounds like I think you're right. So you think you were a part of a scientist, and so maybe you like I don't know, deconstruct it or something, and now you're like trying to like Manhattan in Watchmen.
Yeah. And it may not actually, there's other things that may not actually be happening to me. For all I know, this is some weird dream or just this protoplasmic, like, I don't know. And it's really mysterious. The creatures you run into are weird as shit. Just weird stuff to fight and deal with. And
what are you even?
You die a lot. You live some, you die some, you try it again.
That didn't work out.
It's really fantastic though, and just feels really good, just tight, and the controls are great.
M-O colon Astray.
Astray, A-S-T-R-A-Y. There was a guy in a video I watched who called it Astray, and so that's why I've been saying Astray, because I don't know if that's right, instead of Astray. But nonetheless, and notwithstanding, it's very cool, and you would be hard pressed to find a much cooler new side-scrolling sort of platformer thing than this.
Right.
It's very
and who'd you say this was by?
This is by Archprey Incorporated, is the dev, and it's on Steam, and maybe other places. It'd be a great Switch game.
Right.
Every indie game I play, I always go, "Ooh, this would be good on the Switch."
I'm telling you right now, we've talked about this in the past. I mean, for a while, the PS4, Sony had all the best indie games, and then it kind of migrated a little bit to my Game Pass. I had it so good there, but now it's like I can't get enough indie games on my Switch.
Yeah.
It's just...
And for me, I mean, it's what the Vita wanted to do and didn't pull off. Sorry, my lung decided to jump up to my face. It's a very cool game.
Lung face.
So check it out. All right, Brian, tell me about Hyper Parasite, which is a little bit like real life right now. Tell me about that. What's
right. Let me tell you about Hyper Parasite. This is one of those game codes where I requested a code off of the keymailer.co, and the dev was kind enough to send me a game code to try this game out. And so I did. You like roguelites, right? That's the thing that Scott likes. Well, how about a dual stick shooter? Kind of a brawler kind of thing. All
you know I like those. You know I like things with two sticks.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole time I was playing, I was like, Scott, I think Scott would love this. Also, thematically, it is set during the 80s. So you're a parasite, a disembodied parasite, hyper parasite at that. And apparently also an alien. So you've come to Earth, you got a beef with the humans, sure, why not? And what you're going to do is you're going to just cause all kinds of damage is what you're going to do. You're going to go into these randomly generated screens of, it looks like backgrounds that are based in the 80s action films, such as Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
And you'll walk around and suck up or infect characters.
Yeah.
So there's over 60, I believe there's 60 different characters you can go against, and each one of those characters is like any good 80s themed movie. They're all theme related. So you have a baller guy who is a basketball guy, and he throws balls everywhere. So if you inhabit him, if you take him over, you can then use his powers, which are throwing balls, which bounce and ricochet off things, and fight everybody else, fight the other humans, such as the Vagrant. He's not called a Vagrant. I'm having trouble remembering what he's actually called in this, but there's like a homeless guy with a shopping buggy. He's actually my favorite.
Oh, of course it is.
Because he has like this dash attack, and you can destroy some people with that. It is amazing. So, okay. So when you inhabit these bodies of these different characters, they're very disposable, as you would expect. And so when they die, you just don't worry about it. You just hop into the next body. Now, while you are out of body, you're vulnerable to being killed more so than if you're in a body.
Yeah.
As you go along in your roguelike, you got enhancements, and you become a little stronger parasite. You get a little bit stronger. You also can, the humans pretty much, I think, stay the same. I don't think they have much improvements over what they are. Right. You unlock more powerful characters as you go along.
That's kind of poetic, because humans are kind of like that. We're not really great.
Yeah, we're kind of very simple organisms, right?
Yeah.
So there is also a store area during in between, because you're collecting cash as you go along, and you can't inhabit all the characters at first. Okay. You can only inhabit certain characters, and the other ones are locked. How you unlock them is you earn money as you go along by killing people and blowing up barrels and that kind of stuff. And then you go to I think his name is it Wito? Wito, I believe. And he's an alien shopkeeper.
Okay.
And you go in there, and he's got like a little cryo chamber, and you can unlock the ability to inhabit these different characters as you go along, getting a little more powerful as you go along.
Would you say it's like puzzly too? So like you're in a zone and you're like, I can't get out of here. I guess I better. Oh right, if I go and inhabit that thing, then I can get out because of blah blah blah. It's not like that.
This is very much in the brawler area at this point, because you will get locked into rooms, and you have to kill everything until you get out. But there's no real puzzle solving. This is just purely cathartic, blowing up stuff, dual stick shooting, run and gun. You got to kill everything and get out of here. So sometimes you have to think a little bit. It's like, oh, I see my favorite character over there, the hobo. I want to go get him because he's way better than the baller, because I don't have any baller skills. Because the baller, you have to be able to ricochet things off very well. Mm-hmm. I'm not really good at that, but I am really good at bum rush, right?
Yeah,
love that.
Yeah, you love a good bum rush.
I love a good bum rush.
Yep.
Now the themes, when you fight, there's mini bosses that are also themed out. One of the first mini bosses I think I came across was a Teen Wolf like character, and is set in like a high school gym, and you get to go against him. And if you inhabit him, if you get to a point where you can when you defeat him, you can parasite on in, you can inhabit him, and when you do that, you can play with his character up until the point that you die.
Oh.
If you die, then you lose, of course.
Okay.
Roguelike.
Yeah.
You lose everything and start over again. And
Yeah,
then
that is
you're in a
very
new kind of-
roguelite sounding, which, I
Yes.
love those, so I'm in.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So I got to say, I really love this game. Also got to say, one of the developers stopped in on my stream and gave all kind of tips. I didn't know that's who it was. I didn't know he was one
that's
of the
cool.
developers.
That's cool.
He was like, when I do my streams, I allow backseat gaming. I love it. Unless it's a story spoiler, don't do those.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to give me some tips on how to play better, absolutely, I can always use your tips.
Yeah.
So he's in there throwing all kinds of tips and stuff. I'm like, God, this guy's good. This game just came out. I mean, it just came out like April the 3rd. I'm like, how does this guy know all this stuff? Mm-hmm. And finally, I found out, he's one of the developers. And I went over and watched him stream for a while. And man, he knows how to play his own game. He's really good.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it feels like the guys who play the game probably are at an advantage, is my thinking.
Right.
But
he was doing stuff. I was like, I didn't know I could do that. But I really enjoyed this game. Like I said, unlocking the characters you go along. Oh, by the way, also one of the few cool gimmicks that I found was when you go to the shop, if you are the employee of the month, which is meaning that the last person you inhabited was that particular type of character. Let's say I'm the bum and I show up and he's the employee of the month. My unlocks are like 50% off. So trying to time those just right and making sure that you inhabit the right bodies and coming back and get what you need. It's a lot of fun. And I think it's only like it's on sale right now for it's actually just normal price, $17.99 right now.
Oh.
And like I said, I really enjoyed it. It's getting really good reviews. The developers are Troglodyte Games, and actually I thought it said Trilobite Games at first when I saw it, and I thought that's who that was.
Do you remember there used to be a Trilobite Games? Remember that?
Yeah, there was, and I thought that's who it was, and I was like, oh no, this is Troglodytes. Okay, cool.
Let's see.
But
Trilobite Games. What did they do? Oh yeah,
they did a couple of
computer
things.
game developer.
Several games. That's what I thought it was at first.
They were founded in 1990. They are known for the computer game industry's 7th guest and 11th hour. That's who it is.
Yeah, yes, it is. That's who it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And at first I thought that's who it was. And I was like, oh no. And
yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, I would, if you're looking for just, some run and fun, just having a good time, this is the way to do it. And it's controller supported. Once again, like I said, I feel like playing some PC games this past week because I'm prepping myself, Scott.
Yeah.
For a new gaming PC.
Oh, what game?
So I wanted to see what was out there on the Steam because I've been playing lots of Switch and Xbox and the PS4, and we got the new consoles coming out later this year, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna look at the Steam real quick. I've been ignoring my Epic game store. I've been ignoring the Steam game store. I just thought I got to get back a little bit.
Yeah, it's I still mostly. Lately, a lot of Switch time has been spent because of Animal Crossing almost entirely. But
right,
I'm mostly PC these days. In fact, I haven't touched my consoles in ages. But yeah, a non-controller connected. If you have a PC and you don't have a controller with it, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, and that's the thing. All my games, I'm like, I've gotten to the point that I'm really trying to become a better controller gamer, and some games don't lend themselves to that. So
depends on
I
the
found
game,
if you like strategy games, I didn't think I was going to have any fun in Ancestors Legacy because I was like, oh, this is going to be such a pain. But the controller support is excellent, and it's actually a really good and fun way to play that game.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, it's they've figured that a lot of that stuff they have figured out. You can make a pretty good some people think, and I think I may agree, Civ 6 on the Switch may be its best version. The controller support in that thing makes it really easy to play. It's very cool.
I have been hesitant. I picked up Civ 6 on Super Sale, like $12, and it is still in the wrapper. And I have been hesitant because I was thinking, do I really want to play Civ 6, a very on a small little handheld device with a controller. But after playing this, I think I'm gonna give it a try.
All right, well, let me know how that goes.
Why not? It's right there. I bought it.
Real quick here, note that I also picked up XCOM Chimera Squad.
Ooh, squad.
That's SWAD. Squad.
It's a big old squad.
XCOM Chimera Squad. There we go. This is like a weird follow-up to 2, which was a full-blown game a couple years ago, which was very good, is still very good. And this came out of nowhere, kind of. It was also or it's also half off at launch, so $10 will eventually be $20. And I was just like, well, I don't care. Even if this is bad, I'm spending $10 on it because this looks interesting.
Is it still on sale? Because I was gonna pull the trigger.
I think so. I think as of today, it still is. I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I think it runs till a certain time. Anyways, it's very good so far, but I didn't play enough of it to give my full thoughts. I'll do that next week when I've had some more time with it.
Yeah, XCOM games, and that's one of the reasons why I had trouble with this Ancestor Legacy. These strategy games sometimes, 3-4 hours, you're just barely even getting started.
Oh, yeah, you'll go in and lose yourself. What's nice about this one, and so far anyways, it seems to be, I mean, it's a specific squad. You're not making squad mates, okay? You're not building a bunch of characters and when they die, making new ones or any of that. These are a set number of people. They all have their own personality and story. They're all telling this story. In between every mission, you're getting a ton of dialogue and back and forth. It's very different from the other game in that regard, and therefore a little bit more streamlined. It's like sort of, the gameplay is still got to be strategic, use your best abilities, get good cover, like all the stuff you're supposed to do in a XCOM game, plus a couple of new mechanics. They have a breach mechanic that's very cool and some other things. But in between, it's a little more about this story, and it seems pretty self-contained in that regard. And for the price, you freaking can't beat it. So far, pretty nifty. I'll keep at it, like I say, and talk more about it next week. This is not XCOM 3 by any stretch, but it's a real nice little. I'd play more of these if they made more of these. No problem.
Bring them on.
Yeah.
Drop them $10 a pop. Just do it.
I think that'd be great. So anyway, there's that. And you've been okay. Do you like Pokemon Shield now or not like it still? How do you feel about it?
So me and Scott have talked previously, I think on a film sack before pre-show or something, that I had been playing Pokemon Shield. I got it for the Switch, of course, and I had expressed my displeasure at the inability for me to have fun at this game for some reason. I can't quite put my finger on why it's falling flat for me. Because I mean, the loop is there, right? The Pokemon battles are there. What else would I expect? But for some reason, it's just not hitting me right yet. So, I paid full price for this game. It's like $60, and so maybe my expectations were a little bit higher or something. And I don't know. I want to keep playing. I got to keep going back. I mean, I like Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I don't know why.
You like the pocket monsters. I understand.
I like the pocket monsters. I don't know why. I think it's the in-between stuff that's irritating me with the game. I'm kind of enjoying the battles, okay, but I think the in-between stuff isn't really catching me like some of the previous titles have.
Well, this has been my problem with Pokemon all along. Is it's the in-between stuff sucks. I can't stand random battles where I bump into something in the weeds and I just have to fight it now, even though I'm trying to go somewhere. Right. I don't like the way it handles exhausted. There are aspects to it I like. I like the RPG elements. The sort of, evolving stuff's cool. But I've just never been able to just truly enjoy one of those. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
I know Ibbotts likes it, and I know on the Discord server, the Mission Deep Discord server, we have a Pokecord bot, and I enjoy that more for some reason than I have for Shield, which is sad.
A Pokecord. Weird.
Yeah, Pokecord. If you got a Discord server, you can bring in the Pokecord bot, and it allows you to, based on your activity, it will spawn Pokemon in a channel that you establish, and you can then catch it. But you have to guess the name. So you have to guess the Pokemon name. Once you do that, you can hold on to them, select them, evolve them as you go along, and then fight other people, duel.
Yeah,
you can duel other members in the Discord server.
And are you glad? Maybe you shouldn't have gotten Shield. You should have gotten Sword. Maybe that's your problem.
I don't think that's the problem. I don't think because it's just the special characters and stuff that you get to unlock, and it's not really. But I think the story. I think, like I said, I really think it's the in between things that really are just not satisfying me.
I get it.
But like I said, I've got enough Pokemon. I got enough pokes. I got enough pokes in my bag now that I'm getting to make some choices. So the battling has become at least intricate enough that it's interesting. But like I said, it's the in-between stuff that kind of is fall flat for me.
That's what happens when you poke your bag too much.
You got it.
Now this.
It's me, Mario.
Time to play Guess Our Game. We play audio from games that we like or have found, and we try to see if each other can get stumped or find out if they're smart enough to tell what it is just on audio alone. I'm going to start, as is tradition, and I got it right here if I can freaking pull it up. Here it is. Okay. Brian, I want you to try to guess this game. I'll give you a hint. Genesis. That's all I'll say.
Genesis.
Yep.
I don't know.
16-bit era Genesis. Here you go.
Right. Wow, that's all over the place.
Well, it's just skipping through menus. All right,
okay. Here
we go. This sound right here is wicked good. That's one of the great 16-bit soundtracks of all time.
I love it. I love it. I don't know what it is, but I'm loving the sounds.
No guesses?
Keep giving it to me. God, I want to play this game. I don't know what it is.
I'll give you another hint. You're underground.
I'm playing Dig Dug,
no.
Genesis Edition.
No, that'd be cool though. I'd do that. Oh, I love this game so much. Okay,
I can see those crappy Genesis graphics in my head.
Yeah.
Wait, where's my Genesis box set?
There's blast processing going on there.
I got my little throwback Genesis box somewhere. Where's it at? Maybe it's got my game titles on it, and I can guess from that.
Maybe. Never know.
I don't see it. Crap.
By the way, my bit rate has never dropped. Just a quick check on the stream here. It's Twitch is I guess everybody's.
Yeah, it's the out. It's not the ins.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't everybody don't go rushing to Mixer. It'll all be okay. It'll be okay. Give it a minute.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's the one thing that makes me sad because I won't say. Look, I love Twitch and I love what they're done for me and I love everything about it. But I tell you, it's a good thing they got that little statement in their little affiliate partner thing that says you can't be, restreaming because man, Restream.io makes it so easy to throw this on Mixer as well.
Yep.
And I would never betray Twitch as long as they're treating me good, and they treat me good.
Yeah,
so
they
I'm not
do.
gonna complain.
They do. It's too bad that you can't. I mean, if you jump
Right.
ship or whatever. Apparently, people are getting us a little bit if they go as low as 160p.
160p.
That's really weird. All right. Well, anyways, so you give up on that sound? Do you have any idea?
I give up.
Okay, the game is, and this is a bit of a cheat because I played the soundtrack before on the show, but it's Subterranea for the Genesis and the Mega Drive.
Oh, Subterranea.
Yeah, that game was great. So basically, you are hovering around in a cave. You have fuel, and you got to keep track of that fuel and try to get fuel pods as you find them, so you don't run out of fuel and die. But you are always hitting these thrusters to try to sort of hover around dangerous caverns, and you just kind of a little bit like lunar lander style sort of ish.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I can see it.
And you float around in there. You also have guns and missiles. You pick up more of those as you go. You blow up stuff, and you also rescue little dudes. They'll be all gathered around, kind of choplifter style. You go land and then pick those guys up. Then you get the hell out of there and do another one. It's awesome. It's real good, and I love that old game. I know I can emulate it or whatever, but I really wish that would have been one of the ones that were on the Genesis Lite thing or Genesis Mini. That would have been a cool.
We're in such a gluttonous time we have so much access to so many games, and I can't complain, even though. There's certain titles I would love to see Nintendo or, Sega or anybody else allow me to access to, but they've given me so much of the libraries. They've opened up so much stuff that it's just really not worth it for me to emulate a lot of things, unless it's just a very specific nostalgic moment of something that I've got to do.
Well, yeah, that's only a case like this. Like, where is it that I can get this without having an old Genesis and an old copy and an old cartridge for this particular game? And the truth is, they're going to be really hard to come by. So, it'd be really nice if Sega would just release the damn thing. I would love to play it again. I don't want to spend $30 for it, but I want to.
Well, they release those bundles all the time. Of course, we don't know what their licensing problems are, with this game.
Yeah, or who even made this.
Made it.
Yeah, I don't even know if this is a Sega published game. For all I know, it's probably not. I don't remember. I could look it up, I guess, but anyway, Subterranea, rad game. Brian, I'm going to play your sound now. Let's see if I can figure out what you played. Here we go. Okay, is it another Genesis game? It's very Genesis sounding.
This is arcade.
I'm
trying to see if it ever went to the Genesis, but I don't think so.
Sounds like that sound chip again. Let me hear that
arcade.
Again.
It was actually released later on to some other places, but much later on.
Okay.
Go and save the city.
Oh, wait.
The year is 1992.
Oh, I know it. This is the 4-player X-Men game.
That's right. It's the 4-player X-Men.
What was that called? Just X-Men Arcade?
It's called X-Men. Yeah, X-Men Arcade.
Yeah, now I remember I played this a lot.
Save the city.
And I'm pretty sure it had a sound chip like a Genesis sound chip in it.
Probably did.
It sounds just like it. You can hear it.
It was at the arcade, then it showed up on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, and you can also play it on the Android and the iOS.
Yeah. I don't think it's probably very good as a game, but it's a very good quarter-eating dumb time at the arcade game.
So much fun. I loved all those beat-up games they were all the same. I mean, you had the
Teenage
Simpsons
Mutant
game.
Ninja Turtles, Simpsons, Battletoads, all that stuff, yeah.
But it was just fun to drop into
Axe.
those worlds and see those IPs and stupid little beat-ups.
I didn't like Golden Axe very much, and I couldn't even really tell you why I didn't like Golden Axe. But
that's probably one of my
wasn't my favorite.
lesser. Yeah,
There's some people love Golden Axe, and so hats off to those people, but I am not one of them. All right, well done.
Those people.
Well done. That was fun.
No, well done for you.
If y'all have I did guess your game. If anyone out there has ideas for games they'd like us to guess, let us know. You can send email right to our show by going to
Save the city.
poopshow@gmail.com. All right, time for us to read an email. This comes from Nick in Austin. That would be Texas. He says this. Just wanted to drop a line. Happy listener here, and wanted to let you know about a weird game that scratched the same itch as Animal Crossing for some of my Mind F games. He says Stillness of Wind. Says it's available on Xbox Game Pass on PC. Keep up the great work, Nick from Austin.
Stillness of Wind.
So I kind of want to know what this is now.
Is this maybe one of our bad name good games?
It might be. It could be a future bad name good game. Let's see. It says Stillness of Wind. It's also on Steam, it looks like. But it's on Game Pass.
Oh, yeah. 65% off on Steam right now.
I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah. Its recent reviews are kind of mixed, but I don't know why that is. Maybe they had a bad patch. Oh, it's only $5 right now.
Oh, yeah. Super cheap. I love the art style, too. Very simplistic, but...
Yeah. So what do you take care of this farm here?
That's what it looks like.
Slow
green
burn.
donkey?
That describes the narrative perfectly. Stills in the Wind is a soulful depiction of domesticality and farm life. Taking on the farm as an elderly woman who leisurely milks her goats, gathers eggs, and tends to the garden.
Yeah, I love the idea already. So you get to play as little old lady.
I mean, let's see. People really like this. I think I'm going to get this.
Yeah, I mean,
it's $5.
What's the point? What's why not get it?
Well, maybe
is this on the Switch?
It's on Game Pass. It's also on Switch. It looks like it's everywhere. So maybe I'll try it on Game Pass just to make sure I'm not throwing $5 into the wind. But there is something I like about the look of this. It seems kind of
milking the goats.
Milking the goats. Here, chat. You guys can see it. They're back, by the way. They can see us now. Apparently things are better.
Well, perfect. Good. Just in time for us to end the show.
Yep. So some kind of little farm you got going there, and a little old lady like rubbing her eggs together and
rubbing her eggs. Oh my God.
That's probably not the way to say that, but like I don't know what she does. She just walks out here.
I want to have a patchwork roof like that. I want my roof to be made out of Oh my God, just everything. She is huge, by the way.
She is gigantic, and I think she's sucking that goat's teat.
Right.
Is that what's happening there?
Okay. That goat is definitely not going to move, though. He's like, no, sir.
I'm not going anywhere. He's one of those fainting goats. Just didn't fall.
Right. He's a fainting goat.
All right. Nick from Austin, great suggestion. He sent this on the website, actually. You can just go to frogpants.com/BOOP and send a message straight there. Or you can email us, boopshow@gmail.com. More, please. We love getting your feedback and your emails, and I'm going to go check that game out. See how it is. All right, Brian, we're almost to the end here. Sorry, chat room, you only caught the last jack or back end of things here. But don't worry, the entire VOD should be up. The stream was never interrupted. It just kept going. So I think it's all up there.
Tune back into the VOD.
Yeah, I do put the archive up on YouTube anyway, so if you want to catch it that way, you can. Or if you want to hear the podcast, that's all fully done too. So you'll be good either way. All right, let's see. Hey, don't forget the website there, frogpants.com/BOOP. I know I mentioned it before. I'll say it again. On Twitter, we're at Boop Show, the Brian Dunaway. I'm at Scott Johnson. And don't forget our Reddit page. It deserves some love. That's over at boopshow.reddit.com. Brian, anything amazing to say before we go?
I got lots to say. I got a question.
Go.
When's this other show you do that you're talking about with the video games?
Oh, yeah. The deep dive into the industry business, which happens on Core. That happens on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain Time every Wednesday. So if you want to come listen to Core, you're welcome to.
What time is that for me? Is that 9 p.m.?
That's 9 p.m. for you. Yep, 9 p.m.
Oh, that's kind of late.
That's a little late. You need your beauty sleep. Let me tell me.
But I'll be there. I'll be there this week.
All right.
I'll be in the chat room telling you how you got it wrong.
That's fine. I did that to you.
Celeste is Blather's sister.
But yeah, that's true. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Did anyone else know that?
I was yelling in the chat room this morning when y'all were doing TMS.
Oh, yeah. Celeste is Blather's sister. He talks so much you forget he's related to anybody because he would drive everyone nuts.
Is that the turnip lady?
Who's that?
I'll kill you.
All right. Have fun in your towns. Have fun in your world. Be good. Be nice. Be healthy. And we'll see you guys next week for another Boop Show. See you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
I don't like Steam. I love Steam.
There you go.
Perfect.
We did it.
We did do it, even though the stream kind of failed us.
It wasn't us, guys. It was the freaking Twitch. They had a problem, but I think the whole VOD got saved, as best I can tell. I won't be able to know till I quit this, but
I didn't realize how much I had gotten used to my new